Hello and welcome to today's video. In this video, we'll learn how to write a function that takes a string and returns true if the string is a palindrome and returns false if it isn't. A palindrome is a word or a phrase or a sequence of characters that reads the same backwards as forwards. A few examples of palindromes are the words such as level, mom, and racecar. Let's say our input string is racecar and we'll store this in a variable of type string called s. We need to view our input string as an array of characters. To determine if the input string is a palindrome, we need to check this string character by character. We need to iteratively check characters at the beginning and at the end of the string and compare them. For this, we'll define two integers. The integer I will contain the value of index 0 and the integer j will contain the value of the index n-1, which is the last index in the string. Once we have initialized everything we need, we will compare the character at index I with the character at index j. If they do not match, that means the string is not a palindrome and we will return false. If they do match, in this case they do, because the characters at indices I and j are the same. In this case, we will increment I by 1 and we will decrement j by 1. We will continue this loop till we have found the characters don't match or I is less than j. In the second pass of the loop, we will compare the characters at index 1 and 5. If they match, then we will increment I by 1 and we will decrement j by 1. Doing this, the for loop will stop because I will no longer be less than j. We have completed the for loop and found that all characters have matched. We will return true after the for loop has finished. Now we know that a palindrome reads the same forward as backwards. So let's look at some edge cases and establish if these are palindromes or not. If the input string is a single character, then it is a palindrome. If we have a few numbers in the string, would this be a palindrome? Yes. What if we have a mix of lowercase and uppercase letters? Is this a palindrome? It is yes. For this video, we will ignore the character case. Let's write an example of a string which is not a palindrome. Writing our function which will return a boolean and let's call it is palindrome and it will take one parameter of type string. It is important to validate the input. So if the input is null, we will return false. Since I'm ignoring the case in this method, I'm going to convert the input string to lowercase and assign it to a new variable called input. As mentioned earlier, I'm going to create a for loop and define two indices. The index I will be initialized to 0 and the index j will be initialized to the length of the input string -1. The for loop will continue till I is less than j and after every iteration I will be incremented by 1 and j will be decremented by 1. We will compare the characters at indices I and j and if they aren't equal, that means our string is not a palindrome and we will return false. We will again compare the characters at index I and j and apply the same process. We will continue this loop till I is less than j or we have established that the string is not a palindrome. The loop has completed and we still haven't returned a false. That means the string is a palindrome and we simply return true. Now let's step through our code with an input which is not a palindrome string. For example, the string consisting of letters A, B, and C by initializing I to 0 and j to 2. We will compare the characters at index I and j and because A is not equal to C, we will return false, which indicates the string is not a palindrome. I hope you found this video useful. I will provide the link to the source code in the description of this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you.